Hello, my name is Susan Pang and welcome to our home at 11 Glacier Acres in Creve Coeur, Missouri. This is our landscape here. It's just about 100% native plants. We have canopy trees planted, understory trees, all kinds of forbs and ferns, you name it, and we have it. So I first like to just introduce you to one of my favorites. This is purple poppy mallow. As you can see, it's growing out of the garden. And it's just one of those plants that will look for the sun wherever it can find it. So it's creeping into the driveway, but you can see how beautiful and prolific the flowers are. And the bees and the butterflies and many animals are attracted to this plant. So it's one of my favorites. And so I'll take you along. This is a prairie here that's planted in front of the house. We built the house in 2017. 18 time frame, and this was all construction material. It looked like a moonscape. It looked like nothing would ever grow on it if you were to see it at that time, because when we dug out the basement, so all the extra soil got dumped on top. So over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, you can see how it's grown prolifically, and this is just such a blessing for us. Like when we sit in the living room inside the house, there's always birds flying by, or like right now I'm looking at a Mississippi kite in that big tall tree. Do you see the big, they migrate here and they land here in May and have babies and then go back down south. So from tall trees to big birds to small little insects, we try to cover them all and give them all a safe haven, a place where they can multiply and have offspring and hopefully spread further and further from our home into other people's yards, maybe if they also have natives, which is desirable. So, but you can see the purple poppy mallow is growing on the fringes here. And then this is another favorite of mine. This is wild quinine. And it has beautiful large foliage. The leaves are large and the flowers stay in bloom for quite a long time. It's like one of those summer plants that you'll have flowers on for several months out of the whole summer. So it's very nice. And there's a lot of other plants here, like compass plant. This one has an interesting leaf here, and asters, aromatic aster, which has a really nice fragrance. So I'll let you smell it. And this is a rain garden over here and another rain garden over here, rain garden 1 and rain garden 2. And these plants planted in the center of the rain garden are plants that like wet feet. After it rains, it stays wet for several hours so the plants can soak in the water. So there's some willow trees in there and button bushes and nannyberry and plants that like moisture. And they take all the rain from our property, from the roof to the gutters, from the hole down the street, eventually land in our rain gardens. And it can literally rain every day, and that's fine with us. We never have water issues in the basement or termites or any issues, because we rainscape the property in such a way that the rain, all the excess water, has a place to go, and it's watering the plants. So basically we can leave for 2 or 3 months in the summer and come back and then catch up on whatever we need to do, but it's not mowing and it's not using a sprinkler system, which are actually in the end harmful to plants because it's chlorinated water that you're putting on the plants. So this rainwater that comes off our metal roof is clean water. The animals can drink it. The plants don't have extra chlorine bleach, and it's good for the soil and for the environment all the way around. Over here we have some shrubs that I planted to kind of take the place of bush honeysuckle, which is an invasive weed in St. Louis. So you can see the big plumes of flowers over there and the kind of tropical looking leaves. This is a smooth sumac, and it's a plant that grows in 48 of the 50 states naturally. And it's good for birds. It spreads out, so the honeysuckle has a hard time competing with it because it's it kind of takes over as well. So, which is what I'm looking for in a plant, you know, something as a defender and something to keep the land free of the invasive species. So there's more of the sumac here in this. You can see the pretty flowers on it, berries. That's really cool. This one. Yeah. And a lot of people use in the Mediterranean countries, especially in the Middle East, they use the sumac as a spice. It's one of their major spices that they put on their foods. So they grind the seeds, and so it's also something that's a spice, like an herb that you can use in cooking, if one is interested in that. And here's the milkweed plant that has a beautiful butterfly on top right now. This is an American fritillary. This is the butterfly that the host plant is the violet. So, oh, it just flew away. But this is a very fragrant plant. This is the milkweed flower. This is common milkweed. And this is the plant that the monarch butterfly needs to procreate and to have more butterflies. And it's really, really fragrant. It's so much better than lilacs, which, by the way, are not a native plant. So much better. Make a perfume out of that. And then, going further into the property, you can see, you know, different plants haven't flowered yet. A lot of things will flower April, May, June, all the way through December. There's different plants that flower. So the one nice thing is to always plant a lot of varieties, so you always have something in bloom. Even in the fall, you want things, so the migrating butterflies and moss have a food source as they're migrating. So like New England aster and aromatic aster, goldenrods flower in the fall, so in early winter. So you want those kinds of plants to help the migrating animals so they have something to eat. So here's a frog pond we have. This is a frog pond that has standing water in it. And this is so we can have dragonflies and toads and tree frogs. And a lot of different species of animals need standing water to have babies. And so I love the sound. We love the sound of the frogs at night. They just make this beautiful choir. And right now you're hearing cicadas likely, because cicadas are also this year quite special in St. Louis area. After resting in the ground for 17 years, they've come up. And if you walk back in the woods a little bit, you'll see like millions of little holes in the ground where they came up from their long sleep of 17 years. And there's different broods of cicadas too. There's not just the ones that were brooding for 17 years, but there's several different species right now. So what do you think?